first of all, just emotional win. One of the first things I did was just sit back about 15, 20 yards and just watch our guys celebrate, because that's what college athletics is about. And here's the thing, I've been on the other side, not necessarily in that fashion, but I've been on the other side of heartbreak, and that's a terrible feeling too. And that's the world we're in college athletics. But what I'm so proud of is just our guys that, there was probably a half a dozen times on the sideline where we could have split, where we could have made excuses, where we could have quit. We probably wanted to at times. Even as a coach, you want to sometimes. I think I said in the headset probably 3 or 4 times, man, if we don't get a stop here, we don't get a first down here, this could be ugly. And, I don't have to repeat that when I said that, because I never necessarily lost faith in y'all, but just playmakers made plays, defense stood up when they needed to stood up. That's a good team, and SEMO could easily be 4-1 right now. I mean, they've lost 3 games just like that. Maybe not that fashion, but they've lost 3 games like that. And we haven't won many in the last 2 years like that. When we get down, we've been such a momentum team that we let that kind of snowball and affect us. And I think what we've done the last 2 weeks, winning on the road like we did in the fashion we won, and then winning this week in the fashion we won, that's what's going to push us to the next level. And I told the team after I don't have a lot to say because I'm just still kind of in, from lack of a better term, shock, but in a good way. And I'm just so proud of them. This is why you work so hard.
Coach, you guys scored 32 points in the fourth quarter. The record is 39, you said, for Montana. Was there a particular play that kind of triggered all that?
I'm just looking at it. It looks fake. I mean, y'all look at it.
You led for 19 seconds.
I don't know. I mean, I think the touchdown where I felt like, okay, we have a chance to do this is when Christian Richmond split them on the seam route. They rolled to cover 3. Will saw it. He hit him right in the seam, and then he split 2 guys, broke a tackle, and I don't know how far the touchdown was, but it was a good distance. And that's where I said, man, I started looking at the time. I started looking at timeouts. I was sitting there thinking, man, this could work out if the ball bounced our way. And then I made the decision to not kick the onside with 1:30 left, maybe in the game. And I knew I had 3 timeouts. I looked at, I asked Coach Collins, our offensive coordinator. I asked Coach Stacks, our defensive coordinator, and basically they both said, hey, we're going to stop them. And Coach Collins said, let's stop them. We can get better field position if we don't get the onside. So, but then I looked up there and I said, man, like, at the end of the game, I'm like, we were 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions. If we just take 3 extra points, we're in the lead.
Right.
And we don't need to do that. So,
right.
So in hindsight, you can think a lot of different things, but we learned a lot about ourselves in the fourth quarter. And I don't know that you expect to learn 32-3 stuff, but we learned a lot about ourselves.
You ever been part of a team that put up 32 points in a quarter?
I have. I've been a part of a lot of fourth quarter comebacks. As a matter of fact, the 2019 Southland Conference Championship team had 5 fourth quarter comebacks that year. And we ended up being a national seed that year. We just did a lot of things right. I felt like every week was like this, maybe not this dramatic, but very similar. So I've been a part of a lot of fourth quarter comebacks, but none in that fashion.
Offensively, you can say it's everything kind of flipped there in the third, starting the fourth. Especially defensively, what were you seeing that kind of change where they weren't gashing by any means, but those first 3 quarters, it seemed every single quarter seemed to get a little bit worse, a little bit worse. Their scoring went up every single time, and then seemingly can't move the ball in the fourth quarter.
I don't know if they changed anything on their end. I mean, I guess they could have got a little more conservative. I didn't reckon they were still throwing the ball, even when they were trying to bleed the clock. So, I think we just tackled them. I think we plugged the middle run game, forced them into some quick throws. I think I don't want y'all to take this the wrong way. I think the refs let us play a little bit more in the fourth quarter than they did early in the game. And so when you get that when you get to do that as a defensive back, your aggressiveness changes, right? Like I felt like there for a quarter and a half, 2 quarters, it's like every time they threw the ball, a flag was coming out. And so we've got to improve on that. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. We're stupid amount of penalties. I don't know what, I can't see where it's at now, but we've got to get better at that. But I think we got that confidence, and you can ask our defense, like they're such a confidence-driven unit. D-Wop, T-Bird, Jessup, Cam Godfrey, those guys, man, they play off confidence, and I think they just they saw the offense having a little success, which I think that helps them, right? And then they were able to play a little football. Let's play a little football in the fourth quarter, and I think we took advantage of that.
How big is the crowd on the last 2 defensive possessions?
I mean, y'all were on the side. I mean, they were phenomenal. I mean, and obviously we're not sitting here with 100,000 people in the stands and all that, but man, I just want to thank the crowd for staying. I mean, if I'm in the crowd and we're down 30-6 going into the fourth quarter, I'm probably gonna go check out what's on the TV at home. And I appreciate the UCA Bear fans and the nation sticking with us, and hopefully our players recognize that. I know they appreciate that, but that means the world to us. They were huge. They were huge. You feed off stuff like that.
You get injury breaks at the pass. You get force up the second punt. What is, I guess, the idea going into that drive? You have a little over a minute.
Yeah.
And how big is kind of breaking one? How much does that kind of change the mental map of what that drive?
Well, the reason why one of the best things about Kylin is he's so versatile. He caught 2 passes on that drive too. So he's so good out of the backfield. Obviously, we split him out, moved him around in many different places all game. But man, he even I think on that drive he picked up a big blitz on that drive too. But yeah, we knew we had a timeout, so we weren't afraid to run the ball. Time was not an issue. After we got that first down, we felt like we got the ability to throw in and sprinkle in a couple runs. And we do a lot of check stuff at the line. Will does a good job. If he sees this, he calls this, and we had something coupled, and Will coupled to the run play. And that's great. He's doing exactly what we coached. We got 1 timeout. And then I knew going in on that last play that he scored on, man, a lot of times they were zero blitzing. They didn't have anybody. It was everybody on the line and 4-on-4 football outside. And, we had discussed on the sideline, actually had a false start, had that play called. And we went out there, they had the same look, we checked it again. And I said, man, if Kylin gets 1-on-1 or somebody gets him on the edge, like when you try to tackle Kylin on the edge, he's going to make him miss, and that's what he did. And gosh, that's one of the. I've been doing this a long time at UCA, and that touchdown probably was one of the most special touchdowns I've been a part of.
Kind of piggybacking on that, Kylin, you always seem to be open, man. Just kind of talk about what you saw tonight. It seems like every time they needed a big first down, big pass, you always seem to be open.
We knew going in that they was going to be trying to play off and bag up, just keep everything in front. And then we just get the ball out and get out of bounds. And they got in a blitz look, so we knew all week that we were going to run right up the middle.
You guys obviously talked about it. Everyone's counting, all the talent you guys have to running back. What did it mean to you have coaches and teammates with you're the guy for that last drive, but there's all these options, all these different scenarios, but they just ran with the whole way.
You can call it some trust, but I mean, we just out there trying to make a play.
Will, big night for you tonight. Steve, what numbers again you were telling us about? Was his career high for better? Like that last week.
I will.
Now talk about tonight.
Came in here too, so you can come.
What's the question?
Kind of talk about tonight. Big night.
Yeah, I think it was just as an offense we need to start faster. Like the defense feeds off of us, and I think we saw that. Once we started getting things going, the defense started playing how they've been playing week in and week out. So we've got to start faster, not try to make it as dramatic as it was, but it's good to win.
Kind of same thing I asked Coach. You guys are down 36. Offense doesn't seem to be clicking going to the fourth quarter. What do you think what do you think really got you guys going in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think we have so many weapons on offense and so many guys that are a crease away from making a regular play a big play. So it's just about getting the ball in those guys' hands, and eventually, it just started to break for us. So.
What were they kind of,
shown from your perspective anything different before the quarter as opposed to the first three quarters? And really, you just kind of need 3 quarters to figure out what works best.
I think they were doing the same thing. I think we just got super aggressive, and then when we started driving, they started getting aggressive back and trying to send everybody. So, but they were doing the same thing that they had been doing.
Growing and running and it's fun, but is it, I don't know, is it exciting, I guess, of all the pressure that as the rest of us, they were covering you guys and kind of giving it back to them?
Yeah, that's why you play the game. You want to be a part of comebacks like that, and it's just crazy. And I think about the margin for error. We were watching a video on Friday in our team room about the margin for error being so small, and then when you're making this comeback, you start thinking about every play or yard that mattered that could have gone different when we get stopped on like 4th and 2 and don't get points, or when they miss a field goal off the crossbar. It just be little things here and there to make the difference in the game. So for us, it was on our side. And then I think back to the practices, and almost every single time we do 2 minutes, it feels like it's like a minute 30 left and 1 timeout and you field goal. And that's kind of the situation we rep, and that's what it ended up being today. So it's crazy how it works out that way.
You early on, I know Campbell was making some plays with receivers. Myles made a huge catch there at the end of the Christian game. What can you say about kind of the receiver group kind of coming along? It seemed like those first 3 quarters, Cam was really the only one that had all these yardage plays.
I think it just shows how much faith we have in each other and how good we are to not fold. I think 90% of teams would have folded down 3-4 possessions going into the 4th quarter, and we just continued to fight and didn't think that we needed, even though we had some explosive plays, we weren't taking it like, all right, we got to go out there and score this play. It was just one play at a time and execute the play that was at hand and making plays in the right moments.
How important this guy, man?
Well, he looked like guys that have been here before. I mean, I've seen Tyler Hudson make plays like that. I've seen Lawan Winningham make plays like that. I've seen Desmond Lewis make plays like that. Dominique Kroom, Desmond Smith, and that's what he looks like. And it's funny because I said on one of those drives, I think it may have been the touchdown drive, I had said to Coach Collins on the headset, I said, throw it to Myles. He's got that look in his eyes. And he did. And he had that look in his eyes like, give me the ball. And, as great as the touchdown catch was, as great as that kind of low ball catch, I thought the biggest catch he made on that was on the bank post slant, where he just stuck them big hands out there in traffic and made the play. I mean, that was you can't coach that. And so Will having that confidence in him to just throw it to a spot and let him go get it. But we can build on that. Myles, you can probably talk more on just you want the freaking ball, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't just wanting the ball. It was just time for me to step up. I feel like I was telling KP like I've been letting him down, so it was time for me to just step up and make a play. So I always live by the saying, big time players make big time plays, and that was a moment for me to step up. So in that moment, I was just thinking, just make a play, nothing more, nothing less, just make a play. And so Will gave me a chance to make a play, so that's what it turned out to be.
On that jump on, you see Cameron Sanders, what are you thinking?
Go make a play. It's time to go make a play.
Worst case coverage you could ever throw a ball like that into. They were playing a lot of press 3-bail, and so the corner's got the angle. I mean, you ain't running by him because that's their job. They got deep thirds, and that just shows the confidence Will has in Myles to throw it up. And that touchdown catch Gerard had. I mean, that's as good a one-on-one catch as we've had in 2 years. Christian Richmond's got Cam Robinson. I mean, there's just so many good plays made by a lot of big-time players. And I think if anything, you get a little taste of confidence. You're going to see the best continue to come out of these boys.
On the day you were talking about how last week was really the first time you guys ever won, or recently won close to.
Yeah, the last 2 years.
Yeah, it was blowouts or losses.
Or losses.
I mean,
2 in a row.
yeah, I mean, how last week was its whole thing.
Well, this was different than last week, and here's the difference. Last week we were ahead, and we had adversity on it being a road trip, a lightning delay. I mean, the elements were the issue last week, and we let them get back in the game. I think the big difference in that one and this one, these guys could probably attest to this, is just we kept believing. Like we can sit here and talk about this stuff in August, and we can talk about this tomorrow, and it's probably still going to seem surreal. But we had to come back, and we didn't just have to come back from a score or 2 scores. We had to come back from 3. I don't know what scores, 3 scores in the fourth quarter with time ticking. I mean, that's what makes this one so special and the difference in the two. But it is like last weekend that you've gone 2 straight weeks of close games and you found a way to win. You know, we're sitting at 4-2. We're sitting at 3-1 in FCS football, right? 3-1, only lost in North Dakota State. So we're in a good spot right now. We got to rest up, recover. We got a big one next week against SFA. They're going to be tough. They're going to be long. They're going to be skilled. But we'll enjoy this for a little bit. But we got to get back to work. We got a lot to clean up.
Can you kind of touch on the offensive line?
I'm so proud of those guys.
Just Larry playing.
Yeah, I mean, look, those guys. One, we've been down Frazier since game 1. Frazier Rose, that is. And then BK Collier, who took Frazier's spot at right tackle, had a death in the family. And he's been in our thoughts and prayers. His grandmother passed away, and he was with his family today. So we plan on having him back next week. But Justin Larry has to go from left to right. That's not easy, right? Then you got Zach Kokenauer, redshirt freshman, playing at left. He's got to go do it with the Bulls flying. We gave up 1 sack, and I think it was kind of a fluky deal. He kind of just went down. Yeah, it was kind of I mean, so yeah, Jacob Cox is down. I mean, he's been down the last 2 weeks. I mean, we're just Coach Boykin, unreal job. He gets those guys ready. Every coach I'm talking to compliments our offensive line play. Obviously they had to plan in the run game, and we've got to hit the drawing board a little bit, which we've been good in the run game the first 3 or 4 weeks. So teams are honing in on it, which has resulted in 2 straight, career nights passing the ball. So but we've got to be more balanced. That's going to help us not be in these situations again. So I'm proud of the offensive line.
I'm just curious of what especially that third 2-point can you kind of take?
Oh yeah, it's wide open. We just got pressure up the middle. I mean, if Gerard goes back to his Cabot days, I mean, all he's got to do is wiggle around. Jordan Owens is sitting there wide open. It is a special play we had called, and we worked it, and Gerard's got the ability to make throws. I mean, he's got a cannon on him and pretty accurate. And Myles actually has worked it some too. They brought edge pressure, and it kind of forced him to kind of run the hoop. And if you don't just work those drills every week like he's a receiver, he ain't worried about throwing the ball on the run. They did a good job on that play. But if he could have got to Jo, he was open, and that was unfortunate. But I like the play call. We actually thought about calling it the 2-point conversion before. We didn't. But we need to improve as coaches too. We got to do a better job with 2-point conversion plays. I mean, if we get an overtime there, I mean, you go to the second overtime. Heck, we're going for our 4th 2-point conversion play, or our 5th if it goes to another overtime with the way the rules are now. So we've got to definitely look into that.